Hey y'all, and welcome back to Our Gray House. I'm so glad you're here today because this video is part of a super fun collaboration with 6 other creative journalers. We are each sharing how we do a little something that we are calling journaling our way. I will link Sunflower Tasha DIY, Funky Junk Inspiration, Simply Blessed Crafts, The Painted Peach, Z9 Designs, and Nikki's Eye for DIY down below, along with the playlist so you can check them out. I'm your go-to gal for all things watercolor painting and DIY crafting, and if we haven't met yet, my name is Lisa and this is Our Gray House. Some call this creative journaling, or maybe it's like a modified junk journal type thing, but it's also kind of like scrapbooking. And in mine, I'm doing a combination of all of that, and I'm using this to keep memories. So I'm just going to talk through my process as I do it. And if you have any questions, just kind of let me know below. But this may feel a little bit more random and chaotic because, like I said, I'm just going to talk through it as I'm watching it. So we called this the Grandbaby Tour Summer 2025 edition, and we traveled to the beautiful Pacific Northwest, the PNW, to visit our grandbabies. And because I knew I was going to be putting this in my journal, I started saving little bits and pieces of ephemera to use later. And to get started for yourself, you would just start gathering all kinds of things like ticket stubs, receipts, maps, magazines, other little treasures. Like I'm using a wrapper from the Pretzels, and I have help there. Captain's on duty today, I guess. Anyways, you're just going to create a kind of junk journal style page that's going to bring all those memories back to life. And I'm working with the layout because, you know, I want to make sure that it looks how I want it to look. And at first I was kind of sketching it in the actual journal, but then I thought, no, let me use a piece of copy paper and kind of sketch out where things are going to go so I can kind of get a feel for how it's going to look. And I know some people create just on the go. They just start, you know, cutting and pasting and putting things down on the page. But I like to be a little more intentional about mine. And since I was gluing, I didn't want to have to be like ripping something up and potentially like damaging the page or anything. So that's why I'm doing it this way. And I had separated the napkin there just to one layer. And after I put down some of the things, you could kind of see through it. So I have to put that second layer back. But here I'm putting it down, kind of measuring it up against the page to see where things are going to fit and how things are going to go, and referencing back to my page. It's just kind of like a lot of back and forth and trying to make sure things kind of look how I want it to look. And I had these little boarding passes. We often use the electronic boarding passes, but I actually had these printed out. And I thought, oh great, I'm gonna stick those in my junk journal. And so that's why they're there. And see, it was a little bit too see-through, so I added that other layer of napkin back in. The glue stick that I'm using is an Elmer's glue stick. You know, I mean, it works good for the most part, but there are some times when it doesn't really glue, it doesn't glue as well, and I have to use like another glue. And I also use a glue tape. You see there on the right side, that blue thing, it's a glue tape. I am also using watercolor because I am a watercolor artist, and I wanted to incorporate that into this journal as well. And the notebook or the journal that I'm using is a Leuchtturm 1917, and it's the 120-pound edition, or 120, I think it's called 120G edition or something like that. And it's not thick paper. It's not watercolor paper for sure, but it does hold a little bit of water. So I'm able to kind of lightly add some watercolor to this piece and kind of give it a different element, a different texture to the page, which I like a lot. And yep, I was using my heat tool to kind of speed up the process just a little bit. And the page does buckle up when you're adding the water because it's not watercolor paper, but you know, it all works fine. And we got these stellar pretzels on the plane, and we'd had them before actually, but oh my gosh, they were so good. And I don't know why, but sometimes snacks on a plane just taste that much better. And then I found them in Costco. Oh yeah, here's me trying to use that glue tape on here, and no, that wasn't really working. And I tried the glue stick, and I ended up, there was parts of it that I actually had to use super glue to keep it down because it's that plasticky material and it just wasn't keeping the adhesion. So, but that's okay. I mean, not everything has to lay completely flat. And I was just making sure that I was going to be able to close it and all that kind of stuff. So I'm adding DAL in one corner, and that's the airport code for Dallas Love Field. And that's where we flew out of. We flew on Southwest Airlines. If you hadn't, oh well, I wrote on there Southwest. And And then in the other corner, which was where our first destination is PDX, and that's the Portland, Oregon airport. So I'm just kind of adding that to the page so we knew where we were traveling to or from and to. And then I'm adding, I have this little, it's the Polaroid picture thing, but Mira, oh my gosh, you'd think I would remember the name. Anyways, it's a little printer that prints out Polaroid style prints from your camera roll. And so I printed out a few of those, and I'm going to be adding those to the page. I'm adding some detail to that little cup of Coca-Cola. And I thought that the picture there looked a little too plain, so I'm adding just some, just used some marker and just adding some little dots and dashes to kind of zhuzh it up just a little bit. And then to the PDX and to the DAL, I used my Posca white marker, and I'm just going to be adding little dots because, again, I just thought they looked kind of plain, so I thought that'd be fun. And then I'm using one of the markers that I had to outline that with yellow and filling in the little spots that I thought needed filling in, I guess. You know, it's kind of funny. I didn't really edit this one down that much, and this part I probably could have taken out. No, I'm going to be covering up part of this, but I wanted to sketch out and paint the window scene. And this was from the first leg of our trip, and just the airplane window, just because I thought it looked fun. And I'd seen it in a lot of other travel journals as well. And like I said, I just thought it looked fun. It looked artsy to me. So I'm just trying to add in some little different elements to make it look interesting and kind of like have your eye kind of dance around the page, just looking at all the different things. And that's one thing that I liked about scrapbooking too, is because you could just use so many different elements. And then when I discovered like creative journaling or junk journaling, I'm like, it's really a combination of all of that, and it just makes it a lot of fun. So now I'm putting in the sky for that little window scene. And again, this side of the page looked too plain. I'm adding a picture here, but I thought, no, I need to do something for the background. So I just did pink and blue stripes, and not really any reason. I just thought I really kind of wanted that hotter pink color, but you know, I don't know. I'm learning and just kind of exploring and seeing what feels good when I'm doing it. So I ended up printing on my Sprocket printer that one picture that I just laid down because it has a sticky back to it, and I didn't want the Polaroid end to it. And I'm adding some detail to the wing, the tip. Is it the wing? That's not the wing, that's the tail of the plane, to make it look like Southwest Airlines plane. And I'm gonna trace out the entire thing so it gives a little bit more definition against the page. And then I realized, like, oh, I needed to outline the plane, but also I'm gonna add to that window so it looks more like a window, the little pull down shade thing. Maybe if I don't do it right now, I'll do it in a second. And then I'm just adding, I'm penciling in first so that I can kind of know that all the, Captain just keeps running through the thing, but I'm kind of penciling in so that I know things are going to fit, because that's one of the things that I don't do well. I need to improve on. That. That's a better way to phrase it. I need to improve on how I space my lettering. So I'm just trying to make sure things fit like I like. And I'm writing in the grandbaby tour, and on the bottom I'll write summer 2025. So I think it looks cute right now. And then I'm just adding that. Again, it's Elmer's glue stick, and I'm kind of putting where it goes so I can put the glue on there instead of the back of the picture. I don't know that it helped or hurt or did any difference at all, but that's what I did. And yeah, okay, here I am adding that little part of the window and just kind of making it look more like a window. I actually really like how it turned out. I like junk journaling a lot. So here's just a walkthrough of my junk journal or memory creative journal. I'm not even sure what to call it. You guys tell me in the comments below what I should call it. But this is the cover of it. That's my Explorer page. And that's my State Fair page from last year. And I just recently did that page. And then I did another page of my paints But, and then today's page will be next. But I thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget, I have links to the other, the playlist and the other channels down below. And I just appreciate you watching so much. If you want to follow me on social media, my handle is OurGrayHouse, but just don't follow me in real life though, because that's creepy. Bye.